Alright, so in this video we're going to look at adding a sky to our project. Right now, if we render this, do a little test render on there, the default is just nothing. It just goes to a black back here. At the very least, we can actually go in and just apply a basic background color to our camera. I'm looking through my Lisa Cam, so I would want to have the Lisa Cam selected. And then over here in my attribute editor, if you scroll down, you're going to find a section that says environment. Open that up. There's my default black color. And I can come in and choose whatever color I want for my sky. I can play with the values in here. Just depends on what you want to do. And I can see that's now the color that I have. You're not going to see your color here in your work area, but if you do a test render, you will see that color show up as your background sky. If you want to get this a little bit more exciting than just a basic color, we can treat that the same way we would bringing in any texture file from outside of Maya. But you do need to start out in your Hypershade. So I'm going to come to my Hypershade. That would be my render settings. Okay, Hypershade, there we go. And I start out with a shader ball, so I'm going to click on a Lambert. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm just going to call this, let's call it Awesome Sky. And I could pick a color here, but instead of a basic color, we're going to add a file. So I'm going to grab that little grid menu button. And I'm going to choose a file. And now I have an option to browse, so I'm going to click on that folder. And I previously went to the internet and grabbed myself a sky JPEG, and I've saved it in my source images folder. So I'm selecting my sky and hitting open. So I now have a file named Awesome Sky, which is connected to my file that is my sky JPEG. I'm going to move this off to the side, and actually I'm going to close that for a minute. The way that I apply that file is I'm actually going to zoom out of my project here, and I'm going to get a sphere and just make a sphere that's bigger than the entire city itself. And then I'm going to right click on it, come down to existing material, and choose Awesome Sky. I now have that on my ball. Looks pretty great until I zoom in and look at my city and go, oh yeah, that's right. Textures can only be on one side of a face, so when I'm inside I don't see that sky texture anymore. So with that ball still selected, I'm going to come up to Mesh Display and choose Reverse. And that just flipped it so that my texture is now showing on this side, on the inside of the sphere. If I zoom out, we no longer see it on the outside. So set up my shot here, I come and do my test render, and oh no, I can't see anything. That's kind of weird. Well, I've got lights in my scene, and I just put a big old object, a solid object in there. Remember, directional light goes forever. So essentially my directional light is coming and hitting this, and it's just casting a dark shadow on everything inside. So the way to fix that is if you have the shape, that again, that sphere selected, come over to your attribute editor, and you're going to open up this section that says Render Stats, and uncheck Cast Shadow and uncheck Receive Shadow. Let's try doing a test render on that again. Now I can see my sky behind my city in here.